Boop. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, March the 8th, 2021, and today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 84, and then 1 Kings 6, 1 through 4, and then skipping over to 21 through 22. 1 Corinthians 3, 10 through 23, and I'm going to look at 1 Corinthians chapter 3, 10 through 23, and talk about building, but not building like, you're going to go out and actually build a house, but that imagery that Paul's using here, because every generation builds upon the next, right? So one generation of the church builds upon the foundation that went before it, right? And they become the foundation for the next generation to build upon. But what happens when you try to build upon shoddy workmanship or shoddy materials? You can have the strongest foundation, but if the materials that you lay upon that foundation are shoddy or just not of an enduring quality, they won't stand the test of time. And that's what Paul's talking about here. We've got this verses 12 and 13. And he says, "Now, if anyone builds on the foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, the work of each builder will become visible, for the day will disclose it, because it will be revealed with fire, and the fire will test what sort of work each has done." So, builders build buildings kind of thing. For each of us living now, who consider ourselves part of the church through Christ, let's just say the past year has it's been an interesting time, to say the least. And these days have been a real trial, right? A real trial by fire for everything that's been built before us. The failures that we see, I think, in the church aren't like a failure of the master builder himself who laid the foundation, because that's what Paul's talking about. This is language we see elsewhere in the Bible, that this foundation stone, this cornerstone that's been laid is Christ and the work of Christ, and everything else about the church has been built upon this, right? So the failures that we see aren't a failure of that foundation. They're not a failure of the workmanship or the quality of material of the master builder who laid the foundation, but it reveals the choices of those who came after, the ones that came before us, but they came after the master builder. The ones who maybe chose straw when they should have looked for stouter stuff, if that makes sense. But before we get too judgy about the builders who went before us, realize this: we're builders too. And that's the thing that should give us pause. Each one of us, you and I both, we make decisions about what we're going to lay upon that foundation. And really, are we willing to say that we haven't or won't take shortcuts on what we build or what we build with based on convenience and expedience, and then we'll just do it in the name of expedience? That was the way to do it. That was the way to do it. It was effective. That was the most effective way to do it. And sometimes, that might be the most effective and expedient and convenient way to do it, but it's not necessarily the best or the most enduring. Choosing hay or straw when really gold or silver are required. And like I said, we can't really be too judgy of the ones that went before us that maybe made some decisions that aren't panning out well in the day like we have today, because each one of us is building upon that foundation and upon the work of the previous generations. And if we're not careful, we will make the same decisions because we're prone to seek convenience for our own sake. We're building for tomorrow. Remember that your life in Christ is a calling to participate in the work that God is doing. It's not just, so that, you can feel good about yourself, or you can get discounts online, or, things like that. I don't even know why I said that, other than I'm thinking, like people that advertise, their Christianity as commercial. But anyway, Remember, your life in Christ is a calling to participate in the work that God is doing. You're not just building for yourself or even just for your own, those close to you. You're building for the future, for a day that is yet to come. So build for the future. Build for tomorrow. Build with the things that last and will survive the day. Anyway, that's the DBR for today. Yeah, it was a little intense. But we'll be back tomorrow. Get outside, enjoy the weather. It's a glorious day. And we'll be back tomorrow. Boop.